All right, what's good, everybody? So, welcome to it. We're doing the top albums of 2021, so I'm doing my personal top 10, and just like last year, I can't remember if I said this last year or not, but one of my rules this year is going to be no EPs. So, yeah, this is just my opinion. It's not the best, it's just my personal favorite stuff that I listened to this year, stuff that really, captured me and interested me. And, some of these are because I played them the most, and other ones are because they were just an experience, and I'll, differentiate the two. Number 10, and I will say I own 7 out of the 10 of these. I would love to get the 3 I don't own on LP or even CD. But number 10 is going to be Magdalena Bay with their debut full length. It's called Mercurial World, and I knew I would screw that one up. That's one of the tracks on the album, so I thought I could say it, but apparently not. This is just a nice kind of. They're a new duo. They're synth pop, kind of dance pop with very kind of poppy bubblegum vocals. Kind of reminds me of Grimes' kind of earlier work vocally. Musically, it's its own thing. And yeah, this debut just blew me away. It's definitely my favorite debut of the year. I can't wait to see where this group goes. They seem like such nice people. I follow them on the socials. They seem really nice. They play really good live shows. Would love to see them in person someday. So that's going to be number 10, and I really wanted to pick up a copy, but with Stressmas and everything, I kind of didn't really buy anything after October. I was saving my pennies to give the relatives something, or the friends and all that. Number 9, I do have a copy of. It's this big beast over here. Just make it so the other records don't fall over. It's this beast, the newest one from Iron Maiden, their first one in 5 years, 6 years. Wow. And I said it in my alphabet video where I was choosing my favorite band starting with I. And I think they won, or they were the runner-up. And I said I had heard them, a couple of their songs at least, but I've never really checked them out before Book of Souls came out, and that made me a fan, and I saw them on their tour. It was probably one of the most memorable live shows, especially for their stage setup, but Bruce was, back in, great form and everything. And, this is probably as good or better. It's definitely freaky, and, it's got the big... I was going to do an unboxing of the Amazon version of this, and then it took over a month to ship, and I just canceled it because there was no interest for an unboxing, and also I just wanted to own the record, so I canceled it from them. They let me down, and I just ordered a normal one. Again, I just ordered it off Amazon, but I didn't get the Amazon exclusive, so this will go down there. Yeah, I wasn't... the first single was decent, but I thought, it's not as good as Book of Souls, and then it kind of grew on me in context to the rest of the record. Yeah, every song on there is just great. I can see why some of their fans want them to do kind of the less progressive, long, drawn-out songs and kind of go back to doing stuff like Aces High or Minutes to Midnight or whatever. Yeah, I like the slower, progressive stuff and long songs. The longest ones on the last LP were some of my favorites. Empire, the Red and the Black, what a great song that was, especially live. I knew that was going to happen. Alright, this is where you can pretend that I edited it. So that was number 9. 8 is going to be Churches with Screen Violence, and unlike most people, I loved the third Churches record. It was actually my favorite leading up to this, but Screen Violence might have the edge. I really like their third and fourth. A lot of people don't think that Churches kind of maintained their promise. Their debut was really great, and then the second one, people thought they fell off or it was too similar, and it kind of was, but it was still good. In my opinion, they haven't made a bad LP yet. But Screen Violence just, I don't know, it just accentuates everything. The third record had some of their biggest standouts, in my opinion. That My Enemy one with the guy from The National blew me away. I loved that song. And but Screen Violence, it's just like every song is that good. The one with Robert Smith is incredible. The collaborations he's been doing, like this, the one he did with Gorillaz. I mean, that guy is still. He's a mastermind. He's so good. I just want him to please release a new Cure record. He's been saying it for like 4 years or something. Probably longer, actually. I feel like way back when we saw them live, there was supposed to be a record coming out and it never came. And then it was going to be a double, then it was going to be a triple, now it's going to be a double again. Anyway, but that's another story. But Churches, I love their aesthetic. Yeah, I love, is it Lauren? Is that the lead vocalist? I love her voice, and her lyrics are really good as well. Some of them are quite devastating, but, you know, you gotta cover that kind of stuff, too. Number 7, the album where I can never put it back together properly. It's such an elaborate... I think I opened it in one of my videos, like a vinyl update or something, which, you know, that series has to kind of go on hiatus. But, yeah, that I could never... Every time I listen to it, I can't put it back together properly. I think if I take this out, like, that's what it's supposed to look like, right? Anyway, but yeah, the new Modest Mouse, it was such a long wait for this, just like the Iron Maiden one, and again, it was completely worth it. These sound so fresh. We Are Between, rather, was a great first single. Leave a Light On is so catchy. Japanese Trees, love that one. Back to the Middle. The opener is fun and funny. Fuck Your Acid Trip. Yeah, unlike most people, I think there's not a bad song on here, but I was a big Strangers to Ourselves fan. You know, I'll always like the first 3 Modest Mouth LPs best, but I'll always like everything else they do, too. Like, I'm not really one of those people that think they fell off or they jumped the shark. You can go there. And what's next? Okay, I do have them mostly in order. That's good. Next up is Besnard Lakes, which I also talked about in one of the videos. They're really hard to describe to people that don't know them. I believe they're from Montreal. They've been doing this thing for, you know, 15 years or more, I think. It's like 2 decades now, actually. Their Not Oft Talked About debut came out way back in 2003, so... And this is their first double album, surprisingly, which... Because they're a very ambitious and progressive band, even though they're not really playing prog music. The music they are playing is quite progressive. It's spacey, it's kind of shoegazy. It's so hard to describe to people that don't know about the Bezies, as I like to call them. It's so hard to describe, but it's so worth it, and it's such an amazing journey, even if you can't always exactly point out like what the lyrics are at the time. That doesn't really matter. Like, just the trip of the whole journey, of the musical journey, and then when you find out what some of the lyrics are, they're a very interesting band for sure. You know, their breakout album was all about spies, and I don't know, they have such a cool aesthetic. They're one of the best live acts I've ever seen. They just blow you away with their sound. They're not like heavy, but just swaths of sound. They can kind of get heavy in a weird way, like a non-metal way, I guess. Anyway, love every album they did, and that one's no exception, of course. Number 5 is going to be Burial and Blackdown, which is... okay, this breaks my EP rule, but I guess I had to have it. So, yeah, don't listen to what I said earlier in the video. So, yeah, this is a very kind of collaborative effort. And, you know, I gotta say, it's one of my favorite things Burial has done. Out of the 27 minutes on this EP, only about 18 are Burial moments. There's a Blackdown track that's about 4 minutes long. And then there's a Blackdown remix song of a Heat Map song, which is also about 4 minutes, and then the rest is Burial and some of the best stuff he's done in a while, in my opinion. I like his 2 tracks, especially Space Cadet, but I like them more than anything off the new album that just came out this week, which is good. I was listening to it while it was snowing, and that was the perfect, most of his stuff is good for night walks and raining and, walking around the city at night when there's barely a soul out, or the only souls out you don't really want to run into. But this one, it was so good for snow. But yeah, this EP, it's incredible. I couldn't not include it, so I broke my own rule there. So yeah, anyway, I guess it's my list, so I can do what I want. But I almost gave the 10th or 9th spot to Tragically Hip, and I thought, oh, it's just an EP. But the Burial one, I don't know. I just had to do it. Weezer is going to be number 4, and it's not the one you think it is. It's Van Weezer, the one we waited like a year and a half for. And, End of the Game was, I think it was released as a single in September 2019. I could be wrong. Lots of Van Halen vibes, obviously. I mean, the title, kind of a throwback. But a lot of the stuff on this record isn't as heavy as, I thought it was going to be, or as maybe they promised it was going to be, which was a letdown at first. And I remember the first time I listened to it, I really liked the A-side, and I didn't at all, I shouldn't say I didn't at all like it, but I didn't really like the B-side that much. But I've changed my tune. I really like this record. Give this to me over Green Album any day. That'll anger a lot of people, but there isn't really a Weezer album I hate. I mean, Make Believe I find a little underwhelming, but yeah, I just love the Weez, and the bonus track on here is incredible. It's Pinkerton vibes all over again. But the true ending track, Precious Metal Girl, that one just blows you away. A lot of people, that's one of their favorite Weezer songs in years. One More Hit is so catchy. Blue Dream, I kind of hated the first time I listened to it, because I'm like, they're doing the Crazy Train riff, and then they're taking this old demo that Rivers had and just putting the lyrics over it. It seemed so lazy, it didn't seem to fit, but even that one grew on me. And that might be my least or second least favorite, but it's still good, and it still flows with the album. The singles were all a lot of fun. I don't know, I just thought it was a good time. Number 3... This isn't their debut, but this was the year I discovered this band. It's Spirit of the Beehive, Entertainment Death, and this album is so crazy. The songs go through so many different movements and moods, and sometimes it's loud, sometimes it's abrasive, sometimes it's droney, sometimes it's almost poppy. There are some hooks in there, but as soon as you start to latch onto something or think something sounds catchy, they're going off in another direction. Like, they're very experimental pop, experimental rock. I know that they're playing one city over from me, but unfortunately I can't go see them. It's really hard to see shows at all this year anyway. But I would love to see these guys, and they also win for album cover of the year. So number 3 LP and number 1 for album art. And also one of my favorite discoveries this year is this band. This, Magdalena Bay, Squid, Turnstile, which I might have discovered last year, but I think I really started listening to them more this year. But all those bands, there's probably a couple I'm forgetting, but lots of good discoveries this year. As that's every year, right? So we're at the runner-up spot. Godspeed You Black Emperor. This is my favorite thing they've done since the Yankee record, which was way back in the noughties, in the 2000s, if you will. This is my favorite of their records since their comeback, and they've had one decent one, one that I didn't really like, and one that I really, really liked, but this surpasses them all. It's the regular minimal album art. It's, it definitely is bottom spot for, how many times I've listened to it. It would be under Iron Maiden and all those other ones I just listed. But every time you put it on, it's just a journey. It's kind of like this and Besnard Lakes I haven't listened to quite as much as everything else on the list so far. But, you know, every time I do, it's a journey. It's kind of, you have to play them front to back to get the full experience. You know, turn off the lights, turn off your computer and your phone. Don't, you know, focus on a video game or a show. Like, just listen. And, you know, this does kind of have the same almost ebb and flow of some of the early stuff, like Lift Your Skinny Fists. And to me, it's right up there with Skinny Fists and the Yankee record, which kind of ended the phase one of their career, and they didn't come back for a very, very long time. But those were always my two favorites, and this one would be right under those. Probably. I love the debut record too, but probably. I really was impressed. I got goosebumps, and that's how I knew it was a great Godspeed record. When you get the goosebumps, especially for instrumental rock and instrumental post-rock, if you're getting goosebumps, that's when you know, like, that's when you know the talent, and it's hitting you. And then OK Human, I know this is sealed, but I in my haste and excitement, when OK Human came out, I bought 2 copies online, and then I didn't really have the heart to send it back. Then I was looking for my unsealed copy, which was the one I was playing a lot earlier this year. I couldn't find it, which is ironic, because I just kind of recategorized all my LP collection. It's a lot more organized. That's the word I'm looking for. That word is so foreign to me that it took me a second. But yeah, I couldn't find the copy I've been playing. So it's kind of like Andy was psychic ahead of time. I knew. And so it's like, I gotta have a copy to hold up in the video. This is one of the best things Weezer have ever done. This is a lot of, you know, casual fans have said, what a comeback for Weezer, or, you know, best since White Album, best since Pinkerton. You know, it might be the best since Maladroit, but unlike a lot of people that are saying best since blah blah blah, you know, I like every Weezer record to some extent. There's 2 that are kind of iffy, but they have their moments, definitely. One which I mentioned, you know, 3 spots ago. The Make Believe, not Van Weezer, but Make Believe. But this is so accomplished, so mature. The orchestrations, you wouldn't really think, when this was announced, it's kind of like, I wonder how this is going to work. And then when the first single came out, it's like, wow, okay, these guys know what they're doing. And that song's great. It was probably one of my most played songs of, did it come out late 2020 probably? So, but even going into this year, it probably remained one of my most played and favorite songs. It's so catchy. The hooks are so strong on this record. Rivers sings with confidence and maturity. You know, it's crazy. They apparently wrote this or most of it before the COVID-19 pandemic, and you know, a lot of these, there's parallels to being isolated and feelings of isolation in modern times, but everything's just so catchy. And you know, Here Comes the Rain, it's joyous. Bird with a Broken Wing is just heartbreaking. It's so good, the writing on that. Like, that's Pinkerton levels of good, but with the new mature Rivers, and not, you know, angsty, sexually frustrated Rivers that, you know, was back in 96 and 95 writing that record. So just as good, but in a different way, of course. Screens, you know, that song rings so true. And Alu Gobi, which is a type of food, I believe. But anyway, I like the song a lot. Grapes of Wrath, that's a highlight for some people. Yeah, so that's my favorite record of 2021. And I kind of knew when this came out, I'm like, it's going to be hard to unseat this thing. And, you know, I was playing around with, you know, maybe the Godspeed should take it, but I thought, go with your heart, go with your heart. So, I'm probably going to run out of space on my camera, but some quick honorable mentions. Sleigh Bells, probably my favorite full-length they've done thus far, surprisingly, because they have some good ones. Foo Fighters, unlike a lot of people, I really liked the new Foo Fighters. Also the Dee Gees record, which is the Foo Fighters doing Bee Gees and a solo tune from one of the Bee Gee members. Robin, I believe it is. That one's great. That one's so much fun. I guess it's kind of an EP, even though it's not listed as one, but looking at the track length. But anyway, yeah, that Royal Blood, which was recommended to me by a friend, their new one, Typhoons, I really like that one a lot. The Black Keys, their blues record, Delta Cream, love it, love it. One of my favorite records they've done, and just like everyone else, they've done some really good ones, everyone else on the list. I said earlier, you know, I was trying not to do EPs, but then I broke my own rule, so Gorillaz have to get an honorable mention. I listened to Meanwhile a lot. Wish they would put out a physical copy. Tragically Hip, Quicksand. The Tragically Hip one's an EP too. Failure, who got theirs out right at the end of the year. Hopefully it gets shipped to me. I had so much trouble with their last record getting it, and got duped out of a lot of money, and it never came, because they got duped out of the money too. And so I hope nothing happens with Wild Type Droid. Lindsey Buckingham needs an honorable mention. Bad Bad Not Good. Dream Theater, I actually really like that one, and Dream Theater's discography has been very spotty for me. Some I really, really like, and some I, you know, it would be like a 2 stars out of 5. Some I really don't like. Chevelle, if you can count Toy by David Bowie, I'll put that in. That was really interesting to me. I just got a standalone release, but you could stream it like all, you know, the last few months of last year. Soshi Takada, Floating Mountains, some nice ambient pieces, and there's more too, but the other ones kind of fall into 3.5 out of 5, so I'll leave it at that. So anyway, that's my 2021 roundup. Better late than never, as usual. Maybe my goal for this year is to get it out in the holiday season when people like to watch these videos, because now they're all onto their, you know, 2022 music. You know, we're a few big releases deep already. Thanks so much for watching. Please tell me what you enjoyed this year, what you think I missed. But, you know, be kind, because, you know, be kind to me and the other commenters. We all have different opinions, and nobody's wrong, even the outlandish opinions. We welcome those too. So thanks so much for watching. New video next week, and peace out. Take care of yourselves out there. Thanks.